Check out that shirt, eh? Be phenomenal or be forgotten. It's a fucking awesome shirt. Now, one of the things I want to talk about real quick is obviously when you work out, what you want to do is you want to impose enough of a demand. You want to create enough of a disturbance that your body is forced to positively adapt. Whether you train for strength and you want to maximize neural adaptations, or whether you train to build muscle and you want to, maximize, the muscle building growth response through your training. You're gonna have to impose enough of a demand to force the body to do those things, but you don't want to overwork your body's capacity to recover. And there are three variables that go into any strategy, regardless of what you're training for, that will highly influence the return you get on your investment of time and effort, and whether or not you will get a positive return, a maximal or optimal return, or whether you do too much and your return is limited. And also, if you just don't do enough, obviously you need to impose enough of a demand or create enough of a disturbance. Now, those three factors are frequency, intensity, and volume. Frequency is self-explanatory. It's how often you do something, how often you train a body part, how often you train an exercise, depending on what you train for. Intensity is measured by either how much weight you're lifting if you train for strength, how much work your muscles are doing if you train to build muscle. If you train to failure, the rating of perceived exertion would probably be a 10. It was a 10 out of 10 effort. That's a max effort. That's a maximum intensity that went into that set. For strength, obviously, it's a percentage of how much you could do. So if you lifted 270 pounds, but you could do 300 pounds, that would indicate that you lifted 90% of what you could lift on that particular exercise. Volume, very simple. It's the amount of work that you do. It's the amount of sets, the amount of reps, the amount of exercises, the amount of work you did this week, the amount of work you did this month. Just the amount of work that you do. Now, those three variables can be very, very difficult for people to understand. They can't effectively juggle them to promote the best response without overworking their body's capacity to recover. And the easiest way to do it is pick 2 out of 3. If you pick 2 out of 3 variables, you'll still impose enough of a demand, create enough of a disturbance without overworking your body's capacity to recover. So for example, you could choose frequency and intensity, just limit the volume. You could choose intensity and volume, limit the frequency. You don't want to overwork your body's capacity to recover. You could choose volume and frequency, but you'll have to limit the intensity. You can't go really heavy all the time for high volumes of work. The risk of injury is greater, because if you're not recovered and you're trying to lift heavy all the time, you could tear a muscle. So you pick 2 out of those 3. It's very, very simple. A lot of people don't understand this, and they don't take it into consideration when, designing their own strategy to get better at whatever they want to get better at. Now, what happens is when you work out, you create a disturbance, hopefully enough of one, that you promote a positive adaptation. Over time, though, your body gets desensitized to what you do. So even if you did pick 2 out of 3, your body will get desensitized to the 2 factors that you chose. And the good thing about picking 2 out of 3 is, just like a good coach in basketball, you substitute a guy out when he's no longer performing and you put another guy in that hopefully can get the job done. So it's the same thing here. If you choose frequency and intensity, swap one out for volume. If you choose, volume and frequency, swap one out for intensity. And you're putting yourself in the best position to create enough of a disturbance to promote a positive adaptation without overworking your body's capacity to recover. Now, some people are visual learners, so I busted out the whiteboard again, and we're going to just show you some basic drawing here to help maximize your return on investment. I'm going to try to get no glare however I can here. So all you got there basically is a fucking triangle. That should be easy for most people to remember. Frequency, intensity, and volume in no particular order at all. Choose 2 out of 3. Swap one out when your body has become desensitized in favor of another one of the variables. And you could honestly just keep going in that order for as long as you wanted. Just swapping one out for the other, and just making progress. Obviously, you can make changes to the amount of sets, the amount of reps, but as long as they're within a certain limit, you will be adhering to 2 out of those 3 factors. So if you like this information, feel free to share it. Do for others as I've done for you. I'll continue to do this for you because I've had a lot of help coming up in my life, and I can't pay those people back. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to pay it forward. You can do the same thing. If you know someone that would benefit from this, share it with them. It's fucking free and it's simple as fuck. You just click share if you're on Facebook. If you found this on YouTube, send the link, the URL, and an email to somebody, because you should want to help people that you care about if you actually care about them. If you like this information, click the fucking button at the bottom, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to keep bringing it.